Last video, I told you guys that I'll be competing in my first bodybuilding show. And in this video, I'll show you guys the full plan that I'm going to follow. And if you guys want to follow the same plan, then stick around for the end of the video and I'll show you guys exactly how you can. Let's get into the bodybuilding prep series, episode 2. What is going on, you guys? Hey, let's jump straight into this video. So as you can see here, these are my full notes, my full plan that I'm using for this bodybuilding prep. Now, every time that I do my own cut or bulk, whatever it is, or if people come to me, they ask for help with the same exact issue, then this is the exact same process that I take them through. It's what I use myself, and I'm gonna show you guys how you can use it today. So I got my PAR-Q macros and notes all laid out. So PAR-Q is meaning Physical Activity Readiness Questionnaire. This is essentially just saying, where are you currently at and what do you want to do? So let's just jump straight into this, you guys. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to explain the fact that the numbers that I've plugged in here are where I started my prep at. And I'm already a couple weeks into it, so I have adjusted these numbers slightly, but this is where my starting point was at. And I think it's going to be helpful for you guys to see where I was starting. And for you guys as well, you may be starting in a very similar place. So hopefully this video can show you guys the exact same process that I use. If you want to plug in your own numbers, you absolutely can. Or if you guys need help with anything that's on this list or anything that pertains to training, diet, meals, whatever it is, then feel free to reach out to me, you guys, and I'd be happy to help. So let's get straight into it. So first off, I'm going with my notes up top here. So I have my body weight notes here, but let's start up top here. So I have my activity level. So this is on a scale of 1 to 10. Throughout the week, how active are you? Are you walking every day? Are you exercising every day? What is your overall activity like? Like, are you sitting behind a desk most days? Are you up running around with your kids? You know, whatever it is. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being couch potato, not doing anything, 10 being full-on Olympian, you're crazy training. And so at this point, I had just come off of bulk and I was working out 4 or 5 days a week, pretty active. So at this point, I put a 9 out of 10 activity level. Obviously going into the prep, activity is still gonna stay super high. I'm on my feet most days. And so I'm sticking with a 9 out of 10 activity level. So for my goals for this prep, so biggest thing is obviously going through a bulk, you're building a lot of muscle, you're probably putting on a little too much body fat, which, you know, is okay, it comes with the territory, but for the sake of the prep, I wanted to stay jacked, so maintain as much muscle mass as I possibly could, as well as get shredded. So I want to shed all that body fat off, and I want to, you know, just get diced and just absolutely cut. So goal is to get down to 8% body fat. So that is single digit body fat, and it's a goal that, yes, is achievable natural, but damn, is it gonna be hard to get down to there. So it's a big enough goal to where it scares me, but also at the same time, I know that if I set my mind to it, I can achieve it. And so that's what I want for you guys as well. If you set your mind to something that, you know, it's a scary goal, you may feel overwhelmed with it, but trust me, if you shoot for that target, once you hit it, man, the feeling of achievement that you'll get is unlike anything else. And so that's why I set main goal is to maintain the muscle, get shredded, get down to 8% body fat. And then we're going into 3 specific body parts. So what are some 3 specific body parts that I wanted to focus on? So how I chose these are, I looked at my own physique, I saw what were some of my strengths, what were some of my weaknesses, how do I want to present the absolute best package when I finally step on stage. So after looking at my physique, I would realize that a couple parts that I wanted to focus on mainly were my chest, specifically my upper chest. So I really wanted to, you know, build some muscle in my upper chest and really have like the striations pop through. And so I think that was definitely one body part that I wanted to focus on a whole bunch as is my upper chest. Next is going to be my back, specifically my lower back. So mainly for guys, whenever you are dropping a lot of body fat, some of the last places that you'll lose the last few pounds are going to be in the lower midsection, so lower abs, lower back. Guys don't tend to hold on to a lot of fat like on the ends of their arms or like their calves or anything, because your body is naturally trying to protect the vital organs. So that's where they want to stay warm, and so that's where you're going to hold on to the last remaining bit of fat. So my lower back, I really wanted to get that like Christmas tree look where you're like absolutely shredded. So that's why I wanted to focus on my lower back as well. And then also my abs, specifically the obliques. So my abs are good when, they pop through pretty well. I've got, decent ab muscles, but I really wanted the obliques to get absolutely shredded on the sides there, so you can see each of the striations coming through. So that's another body part that I wanted to focus on as well. So now we look down on current nutrition. So toward the end of my bulk, I gotta say my nutrition was not the best. There were a couple cheat meals, a couple times a week. So just being honest that, not every single time throughout the year is, your diet gonna be dialed in, your workout's gonna be optimal. There are times where things fluctuate. And so coming off of that bulk, I gotta say, yeah, I had put on some muscle, I had also put on some body fat. And, that just comes down to just the sheer consistency of what your habits look like. And so at the time when I had started my prep, at the very end of the bulk, my nutrition habits were not the best. And so for the entirety of my prep, I want to aim for a 10 out of 10. Now, 10 out of 10 doesn't necessarily mean perfect 1000% of the time. Are you always dialed in? But I mean on a week-to-week basis. Are you hitting the meals you need to? Are you hitting all your macros? Are you following through with your workouts? And yeah, if you have an extra protein bar or like an extra diet soda with a meal, is that going to totally mess up your entire diet? No, absolutely not. Biggest thing for the prep is just be consistent for a long enough period of time so that you can see those results. Sorry about that, that's the air conditioner. It's hot here in Arizona, so that's hopefully that doesn't go on too long. Anyway, so let's get into the current stats. So at the very beginning of the prep, I had done a e-volt measurement. This can be found at pretty much any standard gym. So a lot of gyms that I go to, either Mountainside or EOS Fitness, they have things like an in-body scan or an e-volt scan. You can also go to the doctor's office and get a DEXA scan. That's going to be something that's really in-depth as well. That's something I would definitely recommend. It's going to be way more in-depth than something just like a regular body weight scale that you would find in your bathroom. And those are fine to use on a day-to-day basis, but if you really want some in-depth numbers, then I would recommend hopping on an in-body and just getting something that's a little bit more in-depth. Not all the time are they going to be perfect, but it's better than just eyeballing it. So let's look at the current stats that I have here. So at the start, I was 176.1 pounds with about 12.7% body fat. You can determine your body fat by either comparing it to scales. I'll throw this up on the screen right now so you guys can see. You can kind of compare what your physique looks like now to this table, and then also you can compare based off of, like I said, DEXA scan, in-bodies, e-volt scans, and whatnot. So again, these aren't perfect. Take it with a grain of salt, or sand, whatever the saying is. Anyway, so the starting weight was 12.7% body fat, and we're aiming to get down to 8%. Now, my BMR, so BMR, for those of you that don't know, BMR is basal metabolic rate. That means if you were to just wake up in the morning and do absolutely nothing, you sat on the couch all day, you didn't eat, you didn't exercise, you didn't do anything, you just sat all day, your body is still burning calories. Your heart's pumping, your brain's functioning, your blood's flowing throughout your body still functions regardless of if you're not doing a single thing. So your basal metabolic rate is how many calories that you're burning throughout the day regardless. And so my basal metabolic rate was about 1877. So next we go on to TEE. TEE is total energy expenditure. This is with exercise included. So you're up, you're moving throughout the day, what are your activity levels throughout an entire week, and you're looking at how many calories that you're typically burning on a day with meals, activities, maybe work, you're on your feet, you're running errands, you're with your kids, whatever it is. This is going to be the total amount of calories that you're estimated to burn each day. Again, these stats are coming from eVolt scan that I do about every week or every other week whenever I go to the gym. And again, you can get these numbers through a DEXA scan, InBody, and most gyms have some form of equipment that you can use to measure this. Pardon. Anyway, let's go on to the why. So this is going to be super, super important. This is something that this is an exercise that I use with any of the clients that I work with, anyone that comes to me that wants help with any of this stuff. This is a super, super important factor that often gets overlooked in the fitness industry. For me, the reason that I want to be able to stick to this plan, follow through, is because of my identity. I've tied this bigger goal to the fact that if I say I'm going to do it, I am the type of person that will follow through. And so for me, my identity is my big why as to why am I doing all of this. I am the type of person who is fit and athletic, who does follow a meal plan, who has productive, healthy habits. So this exercise, I always take people through this, and I think it's the most powerful thing that you can do to actually stick to habits and goals that you set for yourself. So it's a pretty in-depth process that I take people through, and so it's essentially asking yourself, why are you doing this, and then you continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper until you find like the core root issue as to what's the driving factor. So that's a super powerful thing as well, and I always recommend you have this in any sort of a plan that you're going to be following. So going on to notes. For my weight, like I said, I'm 176.1 pounds. Now, after taking a look at the measurements, so I'm currently 12.7, and I want to get down to 8. So if you do the measurements, I'm going to be losing about 10 pounds of body weight to get down to 8% body fat. So that gets me around 166 pounds. So that should be what I am weighing by the time I step on stage. Same with body fat. So I'm starting with 12.7 and I want to get down to 8%. So over the course of the next few weeks and months, I'm shooting to get down to 166 pounds and 8%. So lean body mass, that's what LBM is. Lean body mass is a huge number that we should be focusing on. So your total body weight is what your entire body weight is, obviously. Your lean body mass is you take away your body fat and it's just pure muscle mass. So at the time of me starting, I was 153.9 pounds of lean body mass. And I want to ideally maintain at least 155. So probably just tighten up a bit with the muscle mass, but ideally I don't want to lose anything more than this. So I want to stick around 155 pounds of lean body mass. You know, it's great if you can lose a whole bunch of weight, but if you're losing muscle mass as well, you're going to lose the fullness, that pop, that ideal look that you're looking for when you want to step on stage and present the most full physique. You don't want to just lose a bunch of weight, which is fat and muscle. That's pointless. So we want to maintain as much lean body mass as we can. And then TCI is your total caloric intake. So you take your total body weight and your activity level, and through the calculation that you come up with is your total caloric intake. So that's how many calories that you're burning, or how many calories you're intaking throughout the entire day. So my TCI is about 2,950 calories. So this means at maintenance, meaning if I ate about 2,950 calories every day, maintain my current activity level, then my body weight won't change. Okay, so that's maintenance. If you want to gain weight, you'd be eating more calories than what you're burning. If you want to lose weight, then you want to eat less calories than what you're burning. So that inverse effect is going to determine what your body composition actually looks like. So let's get into the macros. For this plan, ideally I want to adjust it about every 30 days. This is a pretty aggressive cut that I'm doing because the show is going to be in September. So I ideally want to adjust this every 30 days or so. So I'm already a couple weeks into the cut, like I said. So let's look at my macros for this list. A lot of people can get overwhelmed when it comes to macros because they just don't know the calculations, but I'll break it down for you guys right now. So with my cut, ideally, if you were not competing, you just want to lose some body weight, I would usually recommend going for a 250 calorie per day deficit, meaning every 2 weeks you'll lose 1 pound, because 1 pound is equal to about 3,500 calories. So if every day you're losing 250 calories, it'll take you about 2 weeks to lose a pound. That's great for long-term deficit and just staying consistent, and you'll absolutely lose that weight. Now for me, like I said, I'm going for a little bit more of an aggressive cut. So I'm going up to 500 calorie deficit. So TCI, right, your maintenance, 2950. So I'm cutting 500 calories a day out of my diet. So every week I'm losing a pound. Okay, so my goal calories are going to be 2,450 calories. So we have the total number of calories. What are those calories going to be made up of? So let's go into proteins, fats, carbs, and then I also include sugar in here as well, because I feel like a lot of people can really make a misstep when it comes to sugar. So I'll get to sugar at the end, but essentially you can see I want to stick to less than 80 grams per day. So with protein, the macronutrient of proteins are 4 calories per gram of protein, right? So protein is 4 calories per gram. So that's important to remember. And if you guys want to see a breakdown of how to measure these as well, I made another video that you can check out. I'll link it down below as well. But let's go into the proteins. So the measurement that I use for protein is a sliding scale. So you will probably hear that you can do 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And I think that's a great scale. I think most people can adhere to something like that until you get to somebody who's maybe like 300 pounds. And then I wouldn't ever recommend somebody who's 300 pounds eat 300 grams of protein every single day, because essentially they're going to want to be losing weight. So again, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. If you have your protein at 1 gram per pound of body weight, that's a great scale. The scale I use personally, and the one I always recommend, is going based off of your lean body mass. So what I take is my lean body mass, and then I multiply that by either 1.1 all the way up to either 1.5 and 1.6 grams of body weight, of lean body weight. So I want to maintain a lot of muscle mass, and so I want to keep my protein pretty high. So multiply that by about 1.5 and 1.6. So multiply the 153.9 by about 1.5, and we're getting about 246 grams of protein each day. The 246 grams is going to come out to about 984 calories. So of the 2,450, 984 of them are coming strictly from protein. Okay? So then we move on to fats. Fats, you take your body weight, multiply by 0.4, and that's how I got to 70 grams of fat. And fats though, fats you have to watch out for. Fats are 9 calories per gram, not 4, like protein and carbs are. So fats are calorically more dense. So that's why I'm only eating 70 grams of fats compared to 246 here and 209 here. So that's something you have to watch out for. So I'm at 70 grams of fats, which are about 630 calories. So again, you take these two numbers here, add them together, and then the difference of the 2,450 minus both protein and fats, you get your remaining amount of carbs, which is 836. Again, carbs are 4 calories per gram, So you would just divide that by 4 to get the 209. So here we have a full macro list of how I got to total calories and each of the breakdowns. Once I have the macros, that is going to determine my meal plan. Essentially what I do for my meals are I pick a few different meals that I like. For breakfast, it could be oats, it can be pancakes and eggs, or it could be a breakfast sandwich with some turkey bacon. So whatever it is, pick meals that you like. You can do a macro breakdown of that meal, see where you're at, and then adjust from there. And then same thing with lunch, same thing with dinner. You know, there are a few meals that I follow throughout the year, and I know the macros for each of them, and I can just mix and match depending on where my macros are at for that time of the year, whether I'm bulking or cutting, whatever it is. So that's how I get my meal plan, that's how I do my macros, and I'm basically following this throughout the entire prep. And so my meals are pretty much the same every single day. I know some people don't like to eat the same meal every single day, and that's totally fine. As long as you know meals that you can swap in and out for each other, then that's perfect. That's how you make progress. Okay, moving on to the workout plan. So the workout plan for the prep is a 3-day split. The reason I chose a 3-day split as opposed to something like a push-pull legs, upper-lower split, bro split, whatever it is because I wanted to have enough time in between each workout to have my body fully recover, especially because I'm low on calories. So what the 3-day split looks like is on Mondays, I'll do an upper body day. So that's every upper body movement. So chest, back, shoulders, arms, and then and then I have a rest day Tuesday. Wednesday is typically legs, so everything lower body, including core. And then I'll have a rest day Thursday. And then Friday, I'll do a full body exercise. So typically starting with the legs, get the heavy, hard movements out of the way first, and then moving on to upper body. So the 3-day split is great because it allows for enough flexibility to where, let's say on that Wednesday, it's a very hard leg day, and then Thursday, I'm doing my cardio, and I'm not as well recovered as I'd like, and then Friday comes around, if I'm still not recovered well enough to go to the gym, then I can push that day back to Saturday. So then that way I can do my full body workout on Saturday, have all day Sunday to recover before I start the week over again on Monday with upper body. So the 3-day split is great for me. Personally, I do really enjoy an upper-lower split as well. So whenever I'm bulking or in the off season, I'll do an upper-lower split, and I love that. Love that split as well. Again, plenty of recovery in between each gym session. But for the sake of the prep, because I'm low on calories, I want to stick with a 3-day split workout, and also cardio as well. Each day, I'm averaging about 10,000 calories at the start of the prep. And again, every 30 days, whenever I'm adjusting, I'll up it to about 12,000 steps and then 15,000 steps. So getting closer and closer to the show, I'll increase the cardio. But if you're maintaining about 10,000 steps per day, then you'll absolutely hit your goal weight. So, and then also, check-ins are important. So with my weigh-ins and progress photos, this is something that I think a lot of people overlook because they like to do the numbers, they like the plan, they like all of the sticking to it. But if you're not constantly getting feedback, you may be following a path that's taking you in the wrong direction. So you always have to get that feedback of how you're looking, how you're measuring up, and are you actually sticking to the numbers. So when it comes to the weigh-ins, I have a scale in my bathroom. Again, it's just a simple body weight scale, but I can hop on that every single morning, first thing when I wake up, turn my alarm off, go into the bathroom, weigh myself first thing, no meals, no water, nothing, straight onto the scale, and I log it. Every single day I've been logging my weight, so I know how consistent I've been, and I know how my weight is fluctuating throughout the couple weeks, over the past few weeks. And then once a week, whenever I do go to the gym for my upper body day, I'll hop on the eVolt scan that I had mentioned. Again, if you're going to another gym that has maybe an in-body or something else, or a DEXA scan, then feel free to use that. So Every week I'm doing a eVolt scan to get more in-depth numbers here, as well as progress photos. So I'm doing a front unflexed, flexed, and then back relaxed, and then back flexed. So I'm doing each of these to see how my body's actually looking throughout throughout the cut. So that's how I'm getting that constant feedback, and that's how I'm actually seeing how my body's adjusting to the macros, the exercises, everything. And then also recovery throughout the week. You know, my Whoop is something I use every single day to track my sleep, recovery activities. So if I'm hitting the sauna, the cold plunge, I'm stretching, and making sure I'm resting on my days off or my rest days. And so, but you know, still hitting cardio and then still taking that time to rest and recover. So I come back that next day even stronger. So this is the full plan that I have been following for the beginning of my prep, and these numbers will be adjusting the closer I get to the show. And so I hope this was helpful and insightful to anyone that is looking to also cut down and, you know, stay jacked, get shredded. If you guys want to get to single-digit body fat like I'm doing, then you guys can follow the same plan. If you guys want help with anything as far as workouts, meals, macros, you want the routine, you need the accountability to just stick with it, and you guys want help from me, then feel free to DM me on Instagram, and I'd be happy to help in any way, shape, or form that I can. And then lastly, you guys, I'm gonna show you the #1 tool that you can use to make progress in the gym that is an absolute must for any workout program, no matter whether you're bulking, cutting, main gaining, whatever it is. This is a tool you absolutely have to have if you want to make progress in the gym. And that is going to be how you actually track your workouts. So for me, every single time that I log a workout or any of my clients log a workout, they use this app called Superset. Superset is something that I give access to all my clients, and I use myself every single time that I work out. I can go in, I can track what workout I'm doing throughout the week. So if I go into my upper body day, I can see all the exercises that I'm doing throughout that workout. I can go in and click the actual exercise that I'm doing. I can go into the history of what did I do last time that I worked out, what did I do the 2 weeks previous, 3 weeks previous, whatever it is. I can see my PRs for the heaviest that I've lifted in that exercise, and then I can go in, I can modify the weight and the reps, and I can keep track. And this is actually how you make gains in the gym. So this is called progressive overload, you guys. You have to be tracking your workouts. If you're not tracking your exercises, I guarantee you're not gonna remember what you did last week. You're not gonna be making sufficient progress. And this is how myself and all my clients become so successful, are by tracking the exercises that they're doing. I've loaded in every exercise that you could imagine. All the workouts that I do, all my exercises, all the exercises that my clients do are all logged and tracked using this program. You can go in, you can select an exercise. If you don't know how to do something, you can click the video here. You can see myself performing that exact same exercise. And then you can track all of your progress through the app here. You can see your PRs, you can see what you did week previous, you can go to other exercises, other workouts within the app itself, and I give access to this to all of my clients. I use it on a weekly basis. Every single time that I work out, I track my workouts, and if you are not tracking your workouts properly, you will not make sufficient progress. This is an absolute must if you're going to start working out. So if you guys want any information about either Superset, or if you guys are interested in any programs or plans that you could follow and you need help, you need the accountability, then reach out to me on Instagram. You can DM me and we can get started right now.